Welcome to another episode of First Past the Post podcast. I'm delighted to say I'm with my mate Liam tonight for what is a Christmas/Boxing Day special. Liam, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good. I'm still actually buzzing from my trip to Ascot last week where I saw the mighty Jonbon.
Yeah, mate. Excellent performance, wasn't it? What did you think of him?
Yeah, I mean, I got close to him in the paddock beforehand, and he looked special, you know. And I remember you saying when you went to Newbury and saw him, and you thought he looked a bit sort of a bit nervous.
Yeah, I did. I must admit, I did think he did look a bit nervous that day. But what was your opinions on him in the paddock that day?
Yeah, I mean, I got a good video of him. He looked, he looked calm, composed. I think he must have sort of from Newbury last time out. He took it all in his stride and sort of knew the job he had to get done at Ascot, and he did it really well, didn't he? And to be there
mate.
to witness that, he's such an exciting horse, and I think everyone fully, understands now after that win at Ascot. I think that's put him just clear favourite now for the Supreme. So I think he's into about, is he 2-1 now for the Supreme?
Roughly around that. What I couldn't get my head around again was he actually drifted out to odds against.
Yeah.
Before the race.
Well, he went off at evens, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I managed to get 11-10 on him when I went to Newbury, and I took the same again for him at Ascot. So if he keeps going off that price, I'll keep backing him, mate. Don't you worry.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, you could argue why is he? I don't know why he keeps going off like that, but no, what a special horse, and yeah, I'll be on his side for the Supreme next year, definitely.
Yeah, mate, looks the one to beat at the moment.
Yep, and obviously, just another bit of news that happened last week was Rachael Blackmore ended up winning the BBC World Sports Star Award, didn't she?
Yeah, mate. Just looking at some of the previous winners of that award, the likes of Pele, Muhammad Ali, Tiger Woods, Cristiano Ronaldo, Roger Federer, just goes to show what a big deal it is and how fantastic she is for our sport. Fantastic role model, and she deserves it, mate. She really does.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously touched on it last week when she got nominated, and thinking like, I mean, to be honest with you, I was, it was a bit of a surprise that she actually did end up going to win it, but fair play to her. I mean, if you just obviously look back at, her record-breaking year as well, first woman ever to be top jockey at Cheltenham Festival, first woman ever to win the Grand National, and first woman ever to win the Champion Hurdle as well. So, just look at what she's achieved, and that, that's all in the space of a year, so fair play to her, and she's only getting better as well as a jockey. So
exactly, mate. I think there's more to come from her, mate. She's a superstar for sure.
Definitely. So well done, Rachael. And obviously we had a bit more news, didn't we, about Appreciate It staying hurdling.
Yeah, big news. Obviously the favourite for the Arkle suffered a setback, and now he's going to be staying over hurdles for the foreseeable anyway. I'm on Fernie Hollow anti-post at 16-1, so sort of does me a little bit of a favour. I know you've got a little bet in the Arkle as well.
Well, exactly. You say it does you a favour. It did me a bit of a favour as well, because I've got Blue Lord at a massive price, 40-1. And I think
great bit of value that.
Yeah, and I think he's now going around. I think you can get still 10s, but generally 8s, and obviously with Appreciate It staying hurdling, you'd think now obviously Fernie Hollow is going to be the clear favourite, but I'd happily take Fernie on. So Blue Lord at 40s, that is an exciting bet I have got on. So hopefully all is well with Blue Lord and he ends up getting to the Arkle, mate, for next year, because I'm excited.
I mean, just reading through the betting for the Arkle, you've got Fernie Hollow at 9-4. And then you've got Edwardstone all the way back at 7-1. Riviere Detel at 9-1, who Fernie Hollow is actually going against this weekend, actually. And then you've got the likes of Blue Lord 10-1 and Bob Ollinger 12-1. So just shows there's a big sort of gap between the top of the market and next Edwardstone. But I'm hoping Fernie can do the business this weekend. It'll be a tough ask giving weight to Riviere de Tel, mate. Very tough ask. I'm beating over fences and giving away nearly a stone, so won't be easy, but hopefully he gets the job done.
And what do we reckon for Appreciate It now? I mean, the betting looks like he's still obviously going to, Honeysuckle is going to be the clear favourite, but
yeah,
will Appreciate It be the one to burst Honeysuckle's winning bubble? Will he do it?
I don't think so, mate. I don't think there's someone out there to beat her at the moment, to be honest. I mean, he'd have to give her weight because of the mare's allowance, so be some ask, but I mean, he's a top horse, but not for me, mate. I think Honeysuckle will still win that champion hurdle.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Honeysuckle all the way, definitely. But with Appreciate It in there now, staying hurdling, it could make it interesting, though, couldn't it?
It's definitely a better race now, mate.
Yeah, I agree with that. And before we just go on to our preview for the weekend ahead, we've got on Monday Envoi Allen versus Chacun Pour Soi, haven't we?
Yeah, mate, that'd be a good contest. Obviously, he's meant to have a Nergamine in there as well, but he's been scratched. But I'm actually interested to see this race because both horses who haven't been great lately going up against each other. Obviously, you had Chacun who came over to the Tingle Creek and came last, and Envoi Allen who was disappointing last time out when he was sixth. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, who do you fancy in that, mate?
Well, I think if I'm correct in saying it's only going to be a 4-runner race, right?
Yeah, mate. I think so.
I mean, yeah, you made a few good points there. There's a few interesting aspects from both sides when you look at Envoi and Chacun, but I think with Chacun Pour Soi going back over to Ireland, it's where sort of it wins the most. So
yeah, mate, I think that's a good point. That
you know what I mean, going back over there, I think I can't really look past Chacun, and I think with Envoi, if Envoi was more impressive last time out, I could probably be swaying towards him, but he hasn't really been the same recently. And like I say, with Chacun going back over to Ireland, I can't see Envoi beating him really.
It'd be hard for me to argue with that, but I'm a massive fan of Envoi Allen, so hopefully he does the business and gets back to his best.
Yeah, and so that's the recent news of what's been going on. So before we go into previewing our picks for the Boxing Day racing at Kempton, which of course includes the big one, the King George, which we'll be touching on in a bit, we'll just quickly go over our picks from last time out. Just go over them very briefly. Liam, you had Twilight Twist, 0 points. My Drogo, 3 points. Feru Bamboo, 1 point. Cool Cody, who was very impressive for 3 points.
Yeah, mate. 14-1 winner there.
Yeah, that was very good. Very good tipping from you. Gelino Bello, 2 points. So Royal, no points. And Winhouse, no points. And your nap, funny enough, we just touched on him, was Blue Lord at Fairy House, who, of course, won, which got you 5 points. And then obviously went on to my picks. I had Message Personnel, 0 points. My Drogo, 3 points. Editor the Jeet, 3 points, which was another impressive winner.
Yeah, mate.
Dostal Phil, 0 points, who unfortunately obviously passed away with a fatal injury. It was sad to see that.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he was a good horse, wasn't he, Dostal Phil?
Yeah, mate. Brilliant horse.
Blazing Cow, 3 points, who again was very impressive. So Royal, 0 points. And Indefatigable, who with top weight went really close with finishing second. So that was 2 points. And I had yet another nap, which ended up being a non-runner. So that was good, wasn't it? So, and also that now puts us on, between the pair of us, we're both on 79 points.
Can't write it, can you?
Which is pretty ridiculous if you think about it. So yeah, that is crazy. So obviously hopefully I'll be in the lead after this weekend's racing at Kempton, and that is what we will be talking about, won't it, mate?
Yeah, mate. I've got a few that I fancy this weekend. Starting with in 12:45, I've gone for Broomfield Berg. He was second by half a length to Lively Citizen last time out in a Class 3 handicap at Cheltenham. He's given away £18 that day and to the winner, and he's made a decent start to life over hurdles. And think he should go on to win this. JP McManus also as well. So.
Yeah, strong odds on as well.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go against Broomfield Berg and go for the Paul Nicholls trained horse, Paso Doble. Harry Cobden takes the ride. In a way similar to yours as well, fairly useful on the flat, who quickly reached a similar standard over hurdles as well, making it 2 wins from 5 starts when winning at Taunton, wearing first-time cheek pieces. So I think he's quite respected, and I think, with odds of yours at the moment being really, 8-13 currently, I'd happily take it on with Paso Doble, I think. And I think it's go on.
Must admit, I do like Paso Doble. It's one of my tracker horses.
Oh, is it?
I've gone against it
here. I mean, look, he's already a winner in this sort of sphere as well. So, I'll take it on, and I think that form over the flat, and he's quickly adapted to jumping over hurdles. And I think 2 wins from 5 starts, like I say, is not bad form at all. And I think he'll follow up and definitely give it all it's got to Broomfield Berg, I reckon.
Well, best of luck, mate. Moving on to the 120, I've gone for Danny Carwyn. He prefers a right-handed track, which he'll get here, and he came second by 3 lengths in a pretty strong 5-runner handicap on his chasing debut. The form in that race has been boosted with the likes of Annual Invictus, Savoir, and Back on the Lash all going on to win since. So, yeah, that's my selection. The form being boosted there by them 3 years, given me quite a bit of confidence that he could go on and do the job here.
Well, like you say, that form, that makes yours, makes him a major player, I reckon.
Yeah.
Again, I've opted, funny enough, I've gone for Nico de Boinville and Henderson this race. You've gone for Cobden and Paul Nicholls, like me in the first, but I've gone for Bothwell Bridge.
Yeah.
Very useful in bumper races, and won twice in novice hurdles last term. And had a very successful start over fences in a Sandown novice handicap at the beginning of December. And obviously you look at Nicki Henderson's stable in decent form as well. And I think when you've got de Boinville on it and currently favourite, I think it's going to improve Bothwell Bridge. And I think with that sort of win at Sandown, that was impressive. And I think he'll follow up on Sunday.
I've gone for, in the next race, the 155. I know you've gone for the same here. Gone for our boy Brave Man's Game. Been flawless over fences really so far. I think Paul Nicholls will have him spot on for this race. I think he'll prefer the track and the going probably a bit more than Ahoy Senor. But yeah, it'll be an exciting clash for sure, mate. Looking forward to this race. This is one of the races I'm looking forward to most this weekend.
Well, of course, it's only the 4 runners, and surely it will be between the 2, wouldn't it? At the top of the market.
So, wouldn't
in case it said something happens, I doubt it. But yeah, Hoysen, you're very, very impressive. But like you say, I've joined you with Brave Man's Game, and I can't really say a word different to what you said, mate. He's been so impressive, hasn't he, over fences?
Yeah, mate, could do with him winning this here for our little anti-post next year.
Yeah, we've got what could be quite some bet. We've both got on Brave Man's Game to win the King George, haven't we, next year?
Yep, 25s. I mean, Paul Nicholls already talking about his plans for the horse next year. Sees him as a King George horse. So, I mean, that's enough for me to take a little gamble on it in itself.
Exactly that. I mean, he came out and said that, and, his sort of Brave Man's Game is going in that direction, isn't he? So, I would happily, put a little bit of money on 25-1 and see what happens, mate. That could be quite an exciting bet this time next year.
Just moving on
Brave
to
Man's Game for me as well.
Moving on to the 230, I've gone for Epatante.
Ooh.
Yeah, she's probably didn't get the condition she wanted when she was a dead heat winner in the fight in fifth last time out. She should get it more her own way here, and I think with the mare's weight allowance, that's going to be a big factor as well. I just can't see the rest of the field like being good enough to give her £7 in conditions which should suit her as well. So yeah, I've gone with Epatante. I think the mare's allowance was swayed it, but just want to quickly touch on Tritonic as well. I think it's a good each way bet. Actually, I had a little bet on Tritonic the other day when he won.
You did,
at
yeah?
Ascot. Yeah, 14s. So yeah, I wouldn't be against that back in each way, to be honest. I think he's 11-2 at the moment, but definitely a sound bet.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I've actually gone for Not So Sleepy here. I think obviously that last time out in the fight in fifth, obviously dead heat with Epatante.
Yeah.
I actually think, I mean, I know you say there about the weights, but I've got a funny feeling Not So Sleepy might reverse this. Well, might turn out the clear winner this time out. Very smart hurdler who proved better than ever from the flat. Fit from the flat when dead heated for the first with Epatante, in the sixth runner fight in fifth hurdle 29 days ago, and I think he's going to go very well again. And you know, with the five runners, and as you mentioned, Tritonic and Soaring Glory as well in there, who has been very impressive. But then, you know, last few runs has won a couple, but then went on, and then you thought, oh right, he's going to turn up again and impress, but hasn't managed to do so. And then obviously a big outsider in Glory and Fortune. But yeah, like I say, I've got a feeling Not So Sleepy could definitely turn around that dead heat and become the clear winner here. So I'm taking Epatante on.
Best of luck, mate. Moving on now to the main event, the King George. 305. I've actually gone for Frodon. You know, I love Lost in Translation as well. I know you're going to go for Lost in Translation, so I've changed it up and I've gone for Frodon. I think Lost in Translation is a great each way bet at the price 14-1. But reason I've gone for Frodon, he was a winner of this race last year. He loves it around Kempton. Never lost at Kempton before. He was class at Down Royal last time out. He beat King George rival and last year's Gold Cup winner, Manila Indo. I mean, Paul Nicholls is forming this race. He's won it 12 times, so he'll have Frodon tuned up to perfection. And I just think everything looks on in his favour. Sorry, I mean, the ground should suit him. Like I said, course and distance form. Bryony on board, who knows how to get a tune out of him. So I've gone for Frodon. I think at 6-1, he's a bet for me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can't not love Frodon and Bryony, them two together. And like you say there, Lost in Translation, what a horse. I love him, and I have gone for him
same,
here.
Mate.
Probably more sort of emotional decision. But I mean, look, I mean, you know, I know in the last two King Georges, he pulled up, which was obviously very disappointing. But how well did he get his career back on track after that wind surgery when he won at Ascot in the Grade 2 in November? Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, mate, he's exceptional there.
You know, of course, this is a tough ask, you know, from him this weekend. But with winning so well at Ascot and with the wind surgery, I reckon this could, you know, I think he's got a good chance. I think the form after the last time out, that is massive. And, you know, like you say, at the price, I think each way would be a great bet. But, you know, I think he's got a great chance. And obviously, you know, because it's the big race of the Boxing Day, we'll talk about it in more depth. And obviously, you know, you've got Clandazobo, who's, well, between him and Manila Indo, one of them will probably go off favourite. Who Clandazobo obviously comes out for the King George really more so in recent years, didn't he?
Yeah. I did hear Megan Nicholls on the ITV opening show speaking about Clandazobo, and apparently He's in top condition, so it really wouldn't surprise me if he runs a big race here. Obviously, winner of this race in 2018 and 2019.
Yeah.
2019, where he absolutely blitzed the rest of the field. Wasn't quite at it last year, but I mean, would not surprise me if he ran a massive race.
I mean, even last year he kept on well in third, didn't he? And it would not surprise me in the slightest if he actually does go on to win it, to be honest with you, mate, this year. But would you say he's got a few negatives? I mean, I think the decision to run here without a run is probably a little bit of a gamble. That's a bit surprising. He hasn't had a run before Sunday. But then again, that might say something about the horse, how well he's doing at home.
The one thing is he just didn't look himself here last year. I mean, obviously, I know he's sort of gone on since to improve on that effort, but that would be the only negative for me, is just he just didn't look the same here last year. And I know he's won it twice before, but be interesting to see come the weekend how he runs.
And obviously, like I mentioned there, you got Clan Dezobo and Manella Indo, who Manella Indo, of course, won the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle in 2019, and obviously switched to fences after in the next season. But I think, top class staying chaser, and it's probably quite difficult to imagine that Manella Indo is not going to run a big race.
Yeah. Gold Cup winner as well, so
of course,
obviously a top horse, probably be aimed at the Gold Cup again this year. One of the favourites, just behind La Plutard. Obviously his comeback this season wasn't great, beat by Frodon and Galvin, so wasn't great there. Might have needed that run though, so it'd be interesting to see obviously how he goes. But thing is, you got to think as well, Irish trained horse Henry de Bromhead, obviously he's gonna have the horse in top condition. So
I mean, just one thing there, you touched on obviously Henry de Bromhead, the trainer, but he actually, he's come out and said he comes alive at Cheltenham, but then that makes you think, doesn't it, at Kempton, will the flat sort of right-handed sharp sort of turn be, would that be too much for Manella Indo? I'm not too sure. It'd be interesting, but I think regardless, he's got a very, very big chance here. And who's next?
I agree with you there.
And who's next? We've got Chantry House, haven't we, of course, for Nicki Henderson. Won 8 of his 10 races, and had an ideal warm-up for this test when beating one other rival at Sandown last month. So obviously there, compared to Clan Dezobo, he's had the run before the King George this year. And I think the form of his Grade 1 wins at Cheltenham and Aintree in the spring has worked out well. And he's a very fluent jumper, proven over this trip and on different range of ground as well. So there's plenty to like, and it'll be interesting to see if he takes his form further.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is obviously like the handicappers putting £13 under Manella Indo, so he'll need to find a great deal of improvement if he's to win this race. I was looking at him at first, and his form's exceptional. There's no doubt about it, but I think there could be better bets in this race, to be honest.
And
that's why I've gone elsewhere.
And by saying that takes me nicely on to Asterion Forlonge. And this is a horse I'm very interested in. He was obviously a Grade 1 winner as a hurdler, and capped his novice campaign over fences with a runaway handicap success at the Punchestown Festival off a mark of 152. And I think if you look at Asterion Forlonge last time out in the John Durkin, he was going very, very well. Like, he was travelling and looked to have a lot in hand until he unfortunately fell, which has not been the first time for this horse. And I mean, we've spoken about this before, and I genuinely think if he sorts his jumping out and does not make any errors, he's got so much stamina. I reckon he could run a big race. I genuinely think he's got a great chance.
The only thing for me is the jumping. That's why I would take him on. I mean, he's fallen and unseated the rider so many times now. There's times before we've said if he sorts his jumping out and he just can't seem to do it. So
it's just so annoying because he's got so much potential. Like the engine he's got, honestly, you can tell he was traveling, and I genuinely think he could have won that John Durkan. I tell you, I think could have beaten Allaho the way he was going. So, you know, obviously he fell, but the form, I think it reads well. But like you say, you're trying to make the point, like, how many times are we going to say it if it happens again? Then you lose a bit of hope, didn't you?
Yeah.
But like I say, I think he has got a very, very good chance. And I'll be interested to see what he goes off on the day price-wise, because I might have a little bet on him as well. And who else we got left? We've got Mr. Fisher, another one for Nicki Henderson. Obviously, a bit of a bigger price. But obviously, smart novice the season before last, and his efforts included a win in the Peterborough Chase at Huntington, plus when he was a neck defeat away from Hands of Frodon at Sandown. So, you know, he's gone close to the likes of Frodon before, so it could be an interesting one.
Perhaps, but for me, there's a lot better horses in this race. It's a very, very good renewal, so he'll have his work cut out for sure.
Yeah, and I think really, I mean, at the price, you know, it tells he hasn't really hardly had the ideal prep either. If you look at the prep for the King George with Mr. Fisher, and another horse we've got St. Calvados, and St. Calvados for Paul Nicholls, I think is an interesting one because I think in recent years he has run very decent races at a big price, and I think if he, you know, goes off again at a relatively big price, I wouldn't be against backing him each way, because he has gone fairly close before. But will the trip be a bit of a put off for him? I'm not sure, but you know, with all the ability he's got, I think the price is a great shout for each way.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is that obviously it's another Paul Nicholls trained horse, and he's got two better in there for me. So, it's another one, maybe each way if you fancy it, but it's not one for me, to be honest. Not this weekend anyway.
I mean, you look at his positives, really. I mean, he was a bit unlucky not to win the 2020 Ryanair Chase when he split Min and A Plus Tard as well, you know, and you know what I mean? They're two very good horses, and had Frodon well adrift in fourth. So again, he's sort of taken on these horses in the past, not so long ago, and has shown decent form. So is it a case of maybe whether he sort of what St. Calvados turns up on the day?
Potentially, mate. Yeah, potentially could run a big race, but yeah, not for me. Like I said,
and obviously, like
I
the
just think there's better horses in the race, to be honest.
And probably the trip is the biggest sort of downside, I suppose, as well. If you look at it, the trip, you know, he's done all his winning over 2 miles, hasn't he? So, you know, it's an interesting whether he'll stay in this year's King George. And does that take us to the last horse in the King George, Tornado Flyer? For Willie Mullins, Grade 1 winning bumper, who has also made the frame in top level races over hurdles and fences, when he finished third in the Ryanair last season, and ran sort of fairly well in the John Durkan earlier this month. So, yeah, I mean, again, is it another one at a big price for another big trainer in Willie Mullins, where you think he's just got other better horses in the race?
I think it's been about 2 years since the horse actually last got his head in front, and yeah, he's not won a Grade 1 before, so I just the trip's a question mark as well, and I just it's one that I just couldn't bet on, mate. There's too many negatives there for me. Like, he's got a lot to find if he's going to win this race.
Yeah, and I agree, mate. So yeah, that pretty much takes us to our naps, doesn't it, for the weekend now? After the
we got another race, I think, mate, didn't we?
Oh, of course. Sorry. Apologise. Yeah, of course. Yeah, one more race at Kempton before we get onto the naps.
Yeah, it's the 340. I've gone for Untitled. Completed a 5-timer before unseating rider at the first at Cheltenham. I'm willing to put a line through that, and he's since gone on to win at Taunton. I think this will be his toughest test yet, but I still think there's more to come from him.
Yeah, I mean, the form's great, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, exceptional.
I've gone for our surprise. One in maiden company in April. Better form when placed twice. Switched to the handicap company during the autumn. Unexposed and looks worth a go at this trip also. Jonbon takes a ride for Harry Fry. And I think in what looks with the 10 runners a fairly sort of open race with, your pick there 4-1 currently, but that's quite a big price considering the form.
Yeah.
I've gone for our surprise to land the last on Sunday.
Best of luck with all your picks, mate.
And you.
Just moving on to the nap now.
Yep.
I've gone for Huntingdon. The 1240 at Huntingdon. I've gone for Last Royal. He's a full brother to Honeysuckle, and he looked impressive. Yeah, he looked impressive when he won on his bumper debut in 2020. Followed that up with a second place on his hurdling debut, where he probably would have won if he jumped a bit more fluently. He was then off the race course for 15 months after a wind up, but ran well on his reappearance at Chepstow, finishing third, and that was a stronger race than this one, and I think he'll come on a lot for that run. 15-8. I don't think you can go wrong, especially with that sort of pedigree as well.
Interesting, mate. I mean, just for our listeners, Liam was telling me before we started tonight that he had an interesting fact to say about his nap, and he's definitely pulled it out of the bag with that. No, that sounds exciting, mate. I've gone over to Wolverhampton for the 3 o'clock. I've gone for Exalted Angel for Carl Burke. David Probert takes the ride, who is a jockey I'm very fond of, actually. He is definitely up there.
Yeah, he's excellent, isn't he?
Yeah, top jockey. And again, he's had a great year. Exalted Angel, smart gelding. Finished second of 6 in handicap at this course only 8 days ago. And it makes plenty of appeal now, stepping back up in trip. And sort of the horse has been knocking on the door as well over 5 furlongs, especially at this venue in recent weeks. And he's won over this trip before, and he's got sort of solid all-weather form as well. So I reckon, with that step up at trip and the form, course and distance, looks good to me. So Exalted Angel, 3 o'clock, Wolverhampton on Sunday.
Best of luck, mate.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who takes. Well, it might end up with another with the two of us drawing again after this weekend. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, mate. Looking forward to it.
That's it. Our Christmas Boxing Day special. I enjoyed that, and can't wait for the King George now.
Yeah, mate. One of my favourite days of the year. I mean, it's just a great day to enjoy in front of the telly.
Exactly.
Just eating food and having a few drinks. So I'll definitely be tuning in and can't wait for it, mate. And just like to say Merry Christmas to all of our listeners. Hope you all enjoy it, and if you're having a bet, best of luck. Thanks for all the support this year, and more to come next year. Maybe even get another episode out before the new year. We'll have to see, but thanks everyone. Hope you enjoy your Christmas.
Yeah, I second that. Totally agree, and we appreciate all the support we've had last couple of months where we've started this. So thank you very much to everyone listening again. We all hope you have a brilliant Christmas, and roll on the King George on Sunday.
Yeah, thank you guys. Cheers.
Cheers.